Warning: the following video contains disturbing material that may be inappropriate for younger viewers. Parental discretion is advised. Belle Gunness can lay serious claim to being the first female serial killer of modern times. She was also known as the Black Widow Killer, a woman who would repeatedly attract husbands and other suitors and promptly murder them for their money, while others like Nanny Dawes were relatively timid murderers who would wait years for a chance to poison their latest husband. Belle was happy to dispatch most of her suitors almost immediately, and if they didn't care to take the drop of cyanide, she was quite willing to terminate their prospects with a blow from an axe or a hammer. After all, she was a strong-built 280-pound woman, and there weren't many men able to overpower her. Belle Gunness may also have a second claim to fame. There are very few serial killers who have succeeded in evading the law after being identified. The Hungarian Belle Gunness was one, and Norwegian-born Belle Gunness was another. Belle Gunness was born on November 11th, 1859, in a Norwegian fishing village of Selbu. Her parents had a small farm, and Belle's father also moonlighted as a conjurer. Allegedly, Belle, in her youth, would appear alongside him as a tightrope walker, and it is certainly true to say that she walked a tightrope for the rest of her life. In 1883, her older sister Anna, who had immigrated to Chicago, invited Belle to join her in the United States. Belle jumped at the chance of a new life and arrived in Chicago. The following year, she married a fellow immigrant, Med Sorensen. They lived together happily enough for the next decade or so. They failed to conceive children, but instead fostered 3 girls, Jenny, Myrtle, and Lucy. The only dramas to strike these hardworking immigrants were regular fires that dogged their businesses. Twice their houses burnt down, and in 1897, a confectionery store they also ran succumbed to a fire. Thankfully, each time they were well insured. Insurance also served Belle well when on July 30th, 1900, Sorensen died suddenly at his home, suffering from what was officially listed as heart failure, but strangely showing symptoms of poisoning. Amazingly though, he died on the day that one life insurance policy elapsed and another one started. So his grieving widow was able to collect both policies. With her $8,500 windfall, Belle decided to start a new life. She moved her family to a rural town of LaPorte, Indiana, a place popular with Scandinavian immigrants, and she soon married again, this time to Peter Gunness, a fellow Norwegian. Sadly, this marriage was not to last as long as her first. In 1903, Peter died of a tragic accident after a sausage grinder allegedly fell on his head. Some observed that it looked like a hammer blow might have caused the death wound. The grieving and now pregnant widow's tears was enough to silence the claims. Once again, there was an insurance payment, this time for $4,000. She placed regular advertisements on the Norwegian language press Lonely Hearts columns. Describing herself as a comely widow, she received many replies, and several of the suitors actually arrived at LaPorte, cash or bank books in hand. They would be seen around town a day or two, tell their loved ones they were prepared to marry a rich widow, and then they would disappear. They were not the only people around Belle to disappear. Her foster daughter, Jenny, also vanished. Belle told neighbors that she had gone to a finishing school in California. Farmhands seemed to go missing on the Gunness farm on a regular basis. As far as the community as a whole was concerned, Belle Gunness was a model citizen who had had some very bad luck. This view seemed to be compounded once and for all when on April 28, 1908, Belle's house caught fire. Firefighters were unable to stop the blaze in time, and the bodies of 2 of Belle's children were found in the rubble, along with an adult female assumed to be that of Belle herself, though identification was difficult as the body had been decapitated. The beheaded body was clear evidence that this was no accident but a murder. The police immediately arrested the obvious suspect, local handyman Ray Lamfer, who had had an on-and-off relationship with Belle, but had lately fallen out with her and threatened to burn her house down. That might have been the end of the matter if investigators had not continued digging around the site, looking for the corpse's missing head. They did not find the head, but did find 14 other corpses buried around the farm, mostly in the hog pen. Among those, they were able to identify 2 handymen, the foster daughter Jenny, and 5 other hopeful suitors. The remainder were mostly presumed to be unidentified suitors. It was horribly clear that Belle Gunness was no ordinary widow, but a vicious serial killer. More alarm bells rang when it was discovered that some of the bodies recovered from the fire had cyanide in their stomach. Rumors immediately began to spread that the adult female corpse was not Belle. These were partially squashed a couple weeks later when her dental bridge and 2 teeth, looking suspiciously untouched by the fire, were found in the rubble. Some accepted this as definitive evidence that Belle was dead. Others saw it as a simple and final act of subterfuge. The prosecution of Ray Lampher went ahead, but the jury expresses doubts as to whether Belle was really dead by finding the handyman guilty of only arson and not the murder. Sightings of Belle Gunness began almost immediately and continued in the ensuing years. Most of them were obviously wrong, and to this day, the true story of the first known female serial killer remains shrouded in mystery. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment who you think the next serial killer is going to be. And also remember to comment down below anything having to do with the video for a chance to be on a daily shout out. You can also follow me or reach out to me on Twitter, and I have a Twitch channel that I play some games on. Both will be linked in the description down below. Until next time, guys, sweet dreams.